Our tale begins in old Shanghai, among the leafy streets. Bygone pop songs filled the air, and steam from tasty treats. The people there were gentle souls who'd bike from A to B and while away their latter years with mahjong and tai chi. Among this crowd an old man dwelt whose name was Wang Shilei. He'd fought the Battle of Shanghai, or so they used to say. Bespectacled and sweet he was, and kind beyond compare. Upon his merry head there sat a tousled mop of hair. He lived at number 24, and had done all his life. His grandfather had built the place. Next door, he'd met his wife. The wife had passed, the son moved out, the niece would sometimes phone. The other Wangs were all long gone. Our Wang was quite alone. But Wang had pals along his street, and life was still quite fun. Until one day, disaster struck, and Wang was left undone. A man in a Mercedes came and knocked on Wang's front door. "We'd like to use your land," he said. He didn't say what for. Wang's panicked friends packed up their lives in tricycles and carts and moved on to another life with dread and broken hearts. But Wang refused to be hounded and rounded up like cattle. He locked himself inside his house and braced himself for battle. Next day, poor Wang was woken by 10 men in orange hats. They'd come to flatten Wang's whole hood to build 6 blocks of flats. One licked his chops, one picked his nose, one scratched his bony rear. They looked the old street up and down, then went to fetch their gear. Those bullies bared their filthy teeth and started on their spree. They tore the neighbourhood to shreds with disconcerting glee. They went faster and faster as they ploughed on towards Wang. That goddamn dozing could be heard from here till old Pyongyang. And in their wake, they left a pile of bricks and broken glass and useless scraps of tired old junk and debris from the past. They would not stop, those dozy men, despite Wang's frantic cries. They wiped out number 25 before his frightened eyes, and just when 24 was next, one man got out and spat, "This one's the one that wouldn't budge." And that, thank God, was that. They pulled away and left old Wang alone in his abode that stood there like a nail in wood, alone on his old road. Our tale of woe does not end here, for worse was still in store, and though he didn't know it yet, poor Wang was now at war. Next day, he woke and tried to make a simple cup of chai. He turned the tap, but nothing came. The tap, in short, was dry. That night, the bedroom light cut out while Wang was swatting flies, and through the darkness, poor old Wang could not believe his eyes. The shock of such a nasty trick was more than Wang could take. His chest grew tight, his arm went numb, his heart began to break. The palpitations quickened and the pain grew worse and worse. He fumbled for the telephone to call his niece, a nurse. But when Wang dialed the telephone, he found the tone was dead. And dead was Wang within the hour, 3 meters from his bed. And so it came to pass that night, as Wang lay in his room, the house he'd guarded with his life became his humble tomb. Wang's friends were quite oblivious to their dear old pal's demise. The corpse in number 24 was left to rats and flies. Wang's empty house was soon pulled down. His foe had got their way, and it was plain for all to see that they were here to stay. And so the planners ploughed on through the city's precious past. Old Wang is long forgotten, and in Shanghai the die is cast.